So I just saw Mickey 17, and I'm really kinda at a loss with this one. This was one of my most anticipated movies of the whole year, as I was eager to see Bong Joon-ho's follow-up to Parasite. For the two of you who are maybe unaware, Parasite is regularly regarded as one of the greatest films of the 21st century, and even won the Academy Award for Best Picture in 2020, this being the first non-English language film to do so. Many of us were eagerly awaiting his follow-ups with high hopes that it would live up to the hype that Bong Joon-ho had built for himself as a creator. So was this the case? Let's just get into the story. So the film is based off a novel called Mickey 7 by Edward Ashton and tells the story of Mickey. He's an expendable in a futuristic dystopian world who is sent off to encounter deadly circumstances in the name of scientific research. Sometimes he is exposed to a deadly virus or suffocates in space. Regardless, his memories are uploaded onto a hard drive and a new version is made after each of his deaths. One day he is abandoned in a snowy mountain and presumed dead by a colony of creatures that the human crew is currently trying to conduct research on. After he survives, he returns to his cell, only to find that a new version of Mickey has already been printed and trouble ensues with two Mickeys fighting amongst each other for control. So it's very easy to pick up a lot of the themes that this film would like to tackle just based on the concept alone. It harkens back to familiar themes for Bong Joon-ho, including the exploitation of labor and natural resources in the name of capital growth. You also get themes of racism and authoritarianism. It's self-explanatory, but it's mostly compelling within this universe. I think a lot of people believe that the themes are perhaps too heavy-handed or not subtle, but I really didn't mind it. I think it added a lot of gravity to this production and made it infinitely more interesting to watch. I also liked these characters and thought the performances complemented them well. Mickey is instantly relatable and likable, and you sympathize with his plight. Robert Pattinson is also really great in this film and gives one of his best performances in my opinion. He plays two different versions of Mickey that interact with each other, and he did a really great job differentiating these characters. Much of the credit for this is also given to the script and direction, which pay much attention to the details as it pertains to the personality of these two Mickeys. The other characters are given a lot of development too. Naomi Ackie plays Nasha, Mickey's girlfriend, who is the first to discover the predicament these two Mickeys find themselves in and helps to cover it. She's seen playing a sympathetic role in Mickey's life, and I appreciated the direction they went in with her character. Mark Ruffalo plays Kenneth Marshall, the politician leading this expedition to a new world, and he's cool. A lot of people have noted his similarity to Trump, and while I see small inspirations that were perhaps given to him, it's really not intended to be a one-to-one comparison between the two. I liked his performance actually, and found him to be very entertaining despite how big he often gets with it. All the technical elements are very good. Darius Khondji does the cinematography here, and it looks very nice. I saw this in IMAX, and I think that's a great way to see it if you can. Production design and VFX also look good, no complaints there. I guess my main issue with this one is honestly its pacing and tone. The trailers gave the impression that this movie was going to be a very fast-paced sci-fi action comedy film, and it's really not. It's wholeheartedly a sci-fi movie, that is for sure, but it's also a comedy, drama, romance, action, political film, and I just don't think these elements all blended together that well. It's actually a very slow movie, and we aren't even introduced to the main conflict of this film until maybe the 30 or 40 minute mark, which is kind of ridiculous. A lot of the first act is dedicated to long expository sequences that are mostly delivered via flashbacks and narration, and while this technique could be effectively used with a faster pace, it did test my patience here. What's strange about it too is that the storytelling format is mostly abandoned after the first act, so it felt like an anomaly in the overall film. Once we do reach the main conflict, the pacing mostly stays stagnant. It doesn't really feel like a lot happens, and it's mostly very slow and meditative. The music sounded very nice, but it also felt out of place in this film. They got the same person who did the score for Parasite, and a lot of the themes very much reminded me of that film. It wasn't bad at all, I just was hoping for something a little more exciting. Much of the musical themes involve very slow melodies that are mostly performed on piano, and it definitely caught me off guard within this film. I suppose I should be evaluating this movie based on what it is doing rather than what I want it to do. I think the fact that it did subvert my expectations is commendable, but I did find myself overall disappointed in this one. I may go see it in the theater again with a new mindset because I feel like I may find more to enjoy about it knowing what I know now, but as is, I was mostly underwhelmed with this one. It appears as if a lot of people are responding positively to this one, and all I'll say is, if you enjoyed it, I'm glad you did. Don't let my lukewarm initial response to this one dissuade you from seeing it, because you definitely should check it out. It is unclear how people will overall look back on this one. It could be one of those movies that people think more positively about the longer they let it linger, and I admit that I'm doing the same now. I don't think this will have any Oscar success though, I'm afraid, so don't expect that level of quality going into this. It sort of operates on the same level that Okja did, if you ever saw that movie. It's a nice movie with some good commentary that may or may not leave an impression depending on the viewer. I'm glad I saw it, and I hope you see it too. As for my rating, it's currently a 6 out of 10. It could be a 7 upon rewatch as I'm sort of teetering back and forth between the two, but 6 seems like a solid number for now. Let me know what you think of this movie if you did see it. I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. My name is Christian Skoggs, hope you're all doing okay out there, and until next time.